Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am starting a new live stream because it seems like every hour there's breaking news. There's so much going on in the world, in the country and outside the country. There's so much going on in the world that there seems to be breaking news all the time. And so I'm doing this live stream. This is actually, I think this is my third live stream today. I did one in the early hours of the day. So as soon as we entered February 28th, after midnight, I did a live stream, and then I did another live stream this afternoon, and here I am doing another live stream. So third live stream in one day. And I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you all participating in the live chat. And I am very proud that the people who are actively participating in the conversation, they try to be well informed. You know, I know many of you through this community, and you know, it is so great to see Matthew and Salerno and Bill and Evelyn. So we got Bill from Vegas, we got Evelyn from Vegas, we got Salerno, Matthew, everyone's here. And I hope that more and more people will be joining. My friends, I am so proud of you all because you try to stay informed. You try to keep track of what's going on in the country and around the world. And whenever you are here participating, it's a great discussion that we have, okay? And of course, there are trolls, there are people who are coming here to disrupt our conversation. There are some folks who enter the live chat just to disturb, just to cause disruption to the flow of our conversation. But you know what? We're gonna not pay attention to that. We are going to focus on the substance. We are going to focus on the truth. We are going to always highlight accurate information. We are going to prioritize the important issues that affect us, whether domestic or international. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for your participation. To those who are new, please make sure that you're subscribing, okay? It's a great community. I mean, you may look at my total number of subscribers and you may say, oh, this guy doesn't even have 20,000 subscribers. Oh, I'm not gonna, subscribe and be a part of this community. If that's how you think, you are making a mistake. You do not realize how fast this community has grown. I mean, some of you may remember when I had less than 1,000 subscribers. Some of you may remember that, especially, is Teresa Ross here? Teresa Ross, are you watching, Teresa? Teresa Ross from Arizona saw my channel when I did not have 1,000 subscribers. Okay, Teresa, I don't know if you're listening. You may be here, maybe you're not. Maybe you'll listen to the replay. But Teresa Ross from Arizona, she started following this channel when it did not have even 1,000 subscribers. And here we are at 16,600 plus. Hopefully we'll get to 17,000 soon, maybe 18, 19, 20, and beyond. So do not be discouraged to participate. I mean, do not feel discouraged. Do not feel like, oh, this is not where you should be spending time just because you see a low subscriber number compared to some other channels that have, 500,000, 2 million subscribers. This is a community where we really interact. It's not just me starting this live stream and talking on camera and not paying attention to what people are writing. No. This is a community where we truly care about each other. This is like a family. This truly is like a family. So I encourage those who are here for the first time, subscribe, stay connected, participate in a few live streams, watch a few videos, and if you don't like it after that, you can unsubscribe and leave. That's fine. But try it. Subscribe and stay here and see if you enjoy or if you find it productive, the kind of conversations we have. You don't have to agree with my viewpoints. You can disagree and still be here and actively exercise your First Amendment right to free speech and make meaningful, intellectual contribution. Okay, contribute your ideas, your thoughts, your comments, your viewpoints. Doesn't cost you any money. So stay here, subscribe, like this video, share this video. My friends, let's get to the main discussion here. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. My friends, the United States Department of State has issued a new security alert. How many of you are aware of that? How many of you are keeping track of the updates coming from the United States Department of State? Okay? Who's the Secretary of State? It's such an easy question. You know the answer. If you don't know the answer, then you probably have not been keeping track of what's happening in this country, okay, and around the world. Our Secretary of State is Marco Rubio, who is doing a fabulous job being the top diplomat representing the United States in front of the whole world. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Great selection. When President Trump first announced that he is nominating Marco Rubio for this position, instantly I thought, this is wonderful. This is excellent. This shows excellent judgment to be able to make that decision to select Marco Rubio. Excellent decision. And I know many of you agree that he's doing a great job. Let's share with me your thoughts, all right? So the United States Department of State has issued a new security alert, and this is worldwide caution. This is a very serious matter that everyone should be paying attention to. Worldwide caution. And the Department of State advises United States citizens to follow guidance in the latest security alerts issued by the U.S. Embassy or consulate closest to them. The State Department has also warned that U.S. citizens may experience travel disruptions due to periodic airspace closures. My friends, I think you all understand the reason for this security alert. You all understand that. There are combat operations taking place in the Middle East as we speak. It's going on right now. There are combat operations taking place in the Middle East. The United States of America has launched combat operations in Iran, and as a result, there's a lot of tension in the Middle East right now. And people probably cannot sleep in the Middle East right now. I mean, just imagine being in the Middle East, in a country not far from Iran, okay? Like people in the United Arab Emirates are concerned right now. People in other countries, in Qatar, very concerned right now regarding what's going on. But you know what? Everything will lead to a good outcome. I believe that. Everything will lead to a good outcome because President Donald J. Trump, I have a lot of confidence in his decision making. There's a reason why so many millions and millions of people voted for Donald Trump, put him in the White House, put him in charge of our country. made him the chief executive of the United States of America, gave him the power to make decisions, to assemble an excellent cabinet, to select the right people for his administration, and to help implement the America First agenda. So, yes, there's tension in the Middle East right now. A lot of people are probably, spending sleepless nights, okay? Although, it's just been a few hours, hasn't been 24 hours since it all started. But we have seen that there's been rising tension in the Middle East. And so people are tensed, obviously, but you have to understand that the US allies in the Middle East, the US allies, especially when you look at the Arab countries, they are strongly standing with the United States of America because they also have confidence in Donald Trump's ability to help achieve peace. Now, I've said before in a previous live stream that the pathway to peace is not easy. The pathway to peace is not smooth. There are hurdles, there are obstacles, there are barriers, there are roadblocks. If you want to achieve peace, it's not a straight path. If you want to achieve peace, you may have to go through bumpy roads. You may have to, cross roadblocks. There may be a need for a detour. The path to peace is never easy. But if you can be determined, if you can be persistent, if you are honest, if you are a person with a good heart, if you believe in the truth, then you can get to peace. It just takes a while. And the process is not easy. My friends, there will be peace in the Middle East. The situation in Iran is going to improve. It is going to improve after US intervention in the region. It is going to improve. Right now, we're going through a very tensed period. It's a sort of a transition. There's a lot going on. There's confusion, but it's going to get better. You got to have faith. Things will get better. My friends, if you look at the travel advisory list right now, if you go to the US Department of State's website and you look at the travel advisories, then you are going to see that Iran is at level 4. Do you understand what level 4 is? Do you understand? Who understands what level 4 is? Level 4 is basically do not travel. So the US Department of State is telling Americans that Iran is at level 4, which means do not travel to Iran. Do not travel. Okay? Why? Because there could be kidnapping, there's unrest, there could be hostage taking, wrongful detention, and much more. So Iran is at level 4, do not travel. Israel is at level 3, which means reconsider travel. So Israel, the West Bank, Gaza, at level 3, which means reconsider travel. So it is not as serious as level 4, but it's still a pretty serious level. Level 3 is like, if you want to travel to that region, well, better reconsider travel. If you don't have to travel, don't. Okay? Because of unrest. Lebanon is at level 4, just like Iran, which means do not travel because there could be unrest, crime, kidnapping, hostage taking, so on and so forth. Bahrain is in that region. Bahrain is at level 3 also, just like Israel. So Lebanon and Iran at level 4, which is the highest level. Israel is at 3, Bahrain is at 3, which means reconsider travel. And then Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is at level 2, okay? So much better situation in Saudi Arabia, more stable. It means exercise increased caution. So it's not telling you don't go or reconsider travel, but the State Department is basically saying exercise increased caution, obviously, because there's a lot going on in that part of the world. The whole Middle East, it's a pretty heated area right now. Jordan is also at level 2, like Saudi Arabia, which means exercise increased caution. The United Arab Emirates is at level 2. By the way, if you are wondering, all right, level 2, level 3, what does it mean? What's a level 2? I mean, can you compare that with a European country? All right, I can do that. I can do that. Just to give you a comparison, Saudi Arabia at level 2, Jordan at level 2, United Arab Emirates at level 2, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is also at level 2. So level 2 is nothing crazy. Level 2 is not scary. Level 2 is not going to cause any panic. Okay, it's just exercise increased caution. And, that's in general, I think people should do. If you are traveling outside the United States, just exercise increased caution. You're in a foreign land, a different government, different society, different structure, law enforcement, everything. You may speak the local language or you may not. That also matters. So just exercise increased caution. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep track of where you're going. I mean, this is common sense. So Saudi Arabia, Jordan, United Arab Emirates, Great Britain at the same level, level 2. Okay? And also Egypt. Egypt is also at level 2. Even Germany. Talk about Germany. Germany is at level 2. Belgium. Anyone been to Belgium? Have you been to Belgium? Anyone here? Have you been to Belgium? Belgium is also at level 2. All right, hold on a second. Somebody asked me, what about France? See, I like questions. I'm always happy to answer questions. France, somebody asked me about France. France is at level 2. Okay? So Germany, Belgium, France, level 2. All right? And Qatar is probably the safest. Qatar is probably the safest. Middle Eastern country, Qatar, very advanced, very wealthy, beautiful country. I haven't been there, but I know it's a great place to visit, Qatar. They are at level 1, which is the best possible ranking you can get according to the US Department of State. Level 1, safest, Qatar. Somebody just mentioned Poland is the safest European country. Hey, listen, Poland is at level 1. You are right. Poland is at level 1, which is exercise normal precautions. Safest. Just like Qatar. Just like Switzerland. Switzerland is at level 1. Poland is at level 1. In the Middle East, Qatar is at level 1. The best possible ranking that a country can get. All right? So just to recap, Iran is at level 4. Lebanon is at level 4. Israel is at level 3. Bahrain is at level 3. And then things get better. Saudi Arabia is at level 2. Jordan at level 2. UAE at level 2. Just to compare, UK level 2. Germany level 2. Belgium level 2. France. And then Poland is at level 1. Qatar is at 1. Switzerland at 1. So it just gives you some idea. By the way, this is all public information. You can go to the State Department's website and you can look at international travel advisories. You're going to get a list. You can do, there's a search box. You can type your destination. You can type whatever country. you want to look up, and you can just type the name of that country and it'll give you a level. Like Spain is at level 2, okay? Spain at level 2. All right? Iceland level 1. All right? Denmark level 2. So if you have any more questions, you can let me know. All right. I think it's such a time in the world right now. No matter where you are, no matter where you're traveling, wherever you're going, Europe, Asia, Africa, wherever you're going, Australia, whatever continent you are on, it's important to be cautious. If you are a US citizen, wherever you're going, you think you're going to the safest country in the world, some of the safest, level 1 countries. If you're a US citizen, you still should always focus on your safety, be aware of your surroundings, because, globally, there's a lot of tension. Globally, there's a lot of tension. So, just be cautious. Focus on personal safety and the safety of your loved ones. So, my friends, I'm going to move forward in the conversation, but I want to see where people are tuning in from. Where are you tuning in from? Just give me your name and whatever state you're from. If you are in the United States, if you are from outside the US, just write the name of the country. We like to get to know the participants in the live chat, where people are viewing the videos from, where people are tuning in from. We got one person from England. We got Julie from Florida. All right, let me see. Julie from Florida. Okay, we got Jamie. Jamie, good to see you. Jamie is from Pensacola, Florida. We got Texas. We got Arizona, South Dakota. I'm going to pause for a little bit, and you can just write. We got Dana. Dana is saying American in Australia. That's awesome. Hey, listen, we got Australian friends. You tune in for these live streams. We got friends from different parts of the world. We got, people from South Africa, Australia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the United Kingdom, and other parts of the world. We got friends from Canada who tune in. We got people from so many different Philippines. So please introduce yourself. All right, we got Sally from Indonesia. Okay, we got a viewer we got Lou from Alabama. We got Don from Seattle. All right. We got someone from Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, we got someone from Greenland. Okay. Iceland or Greenland? I see that. Says Iceland and then says, I mean Greenland. All right. Okay, where in Australia? Where in Australia? When someone says Australia, I want to know where. It is such, that country is a continent. It's just amazing. Anyone who has not looked at the world map in a while, there are a lot of people who, for whatever reason, don't look at the world map. I look at the world map every now and then, quite frequently, in fact, because it just gives you a better sense of the world, and it just helps you understand how massive this Earth is. In the entire universe, we're tiny, minuscule, but it's still a big Earth. You look at Australia. It's a country, it's a continent, it's a giant island. Okay? So, awesome. All right. Let's see. Where's everyone from? All right, keep writing. Keep writing wherever you're from. I would appreciate that. It's interesting. I have a question. Do you think that the people of Iran will finally achieve freedom after U.S. combat operations? It's a 50-50 split right now in the poll, which I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. Like 50% saying yes, 50% saying no. I'll keep the poll open and see what the final result ends up being. The question is, do you think that the people of Iran will finally achieve freedom after US combat operations? Oh, now it's 51% saying yes. Oh, then it's back to 50-50. So it's like real tight. 50% saying yes, 50% saying no, even split, and more than 200 people have voted already. 218 votes I can see right now. And I just see 1 minute it goes up to 51% saying yes, and then it goes to 50-50. And now 51% saying no. Now it's back to 50-50. It's very interesting. It's very interesting that those who are responding, they're pretty much evenly divided when answering this question. I mean, I have done lots of polls. I have done so many polls during live streams on this channel. I've been live streaming since January of 2024. This is February of 2026. So I've been live streaming for more than 2 years. And I don't think I've ever seen the results this evenly split, 50-50. I mean, this is so tight that, yes goes up to 51%, then it comes back to 50-50. No goes up to 51%, it's back to 50-50. This is amazing. I was just telling you that 218 people voted. Now it's 244 people voted. I mean, the response number is going up. More and more people are responding, but this is a 50-50 split. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The question is, do you think that the people of Iran will finally achieve freedom after US combat operations? Because that's one of the reasons for this operation. What the decision that President Trump has made to launch Operation Epic Fury. It is to it is to free the people of Iran, because the people of Iran have been living under an authoritarian regime for so many years. And finally, there's an opportunity for the people of Iran to reclaim their freedom of speech, freedom to say what you have in your mind. Here in the United States, we can exercise freedom of speech. Here in the United States, we can criticize our government, whoever is in power, Democrat, Republican, whatever. You can criticize your government, and that is one of the basic freedoms that people should have. If elected officials are not performing well, you should be able to criticize them. I published many articles criticizing left-wing politicians, criticizing Joe Biden's administration. And I can do that because here in the United States, we have freedom. We can express our thoughts. We can go on social media, write a post, sharing our thoughts. We can do live streams, videos like this. People can go out and protest peacefully, hold signs, and share their message with the world. But there are countries where people are not able to say a single word to criticize the government. I mean, look at Iran. That's what we're talking about. In Iran, people do not have freedom. And finally, it seems that the people of Iran may be able to achieve freedom because of US intervention, because after US intervention, the authoritarian regime is collapsing. Maybe it has already collapsed. We have to wait for more information for confirmation. After the authoritarian regime in Iran collapses, people can reclaim their freedom. People can take control of the government. They can establish a truly democratic society where people will have basic freedom, including the freedom to criticize the government. So, my friends, share your thoughts with me. The question that I have over here: do you think that the people of Iran will finally achieve freedom after US combat operations? Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts. And also make sure, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. I got a lot more to talk about. Don't think that I'm asking you to subscribe is because I'm wrapping up this live stream. You know, that's what a lot of people do. Before they wrap up a video, they say, oh, please subscribe, hit the like button, blah, blah, blah. And then they wrap it up. It's the conclusion of the video. No, I have a lot more to say. So stay here. Stay here, my friends. Stay here. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you, your thoughts. Share in the live chat. My friends, there's also a new update from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This is actually an announcement from yesterday. Secretary Marco Rubio wrote that he designated Iran as a state sponsor of wrongful detention. For decades, and this is Secretary Rubio writing, he wrote that for decades, the Iranian regime has cruelly detained innocent Americans and citizens of other nations to use as political leverage. Iran must end this abhorrent practice and immediately free all unjustly detained Americans. So this is important. This was yesterday. This announcement came on the 27th. Tangerine is here. That's awesome. Tangerine, good to see you. Hey, whenever I see one of our old friends tuning in, you know, I don't often get to see that because, you know, the live chat is moving so fast. I can't read everything. But I saw Tangerine's name, and I just have to say, Tangerine, it's so good to see you here. So good to see you. All right. So, my friends, this is something very important to keep in mind. You know, if Americans are traveling to countries, especially countries where there may be political unrest, social unrest, there's always a risk of wrongful detention. And so it is time to pay attention. It is time to, I mean, honestly, think twice before traveling outside the US, especially if you're going to a country where that is at, you know, a level 3, okay, or a level 4, level 3 or 4. I mean, 4, if a country is at level 4, you should not travel. If you're a US citizen, do not travel to a level 4 country. If you're going to a level 3 country, I mean, think twice, think 3 times, 4 times, because that's what that level 3 is. Reconsider travel. Don't travel if you don't have to. But if you're going to a level 1 country, level 2 country, just, you know, regular precaution, I mean, increased caution, that's level 2. Just be aware of your surroundings. Know where you're going, okay? And, you know, it's best if you have a partner that you're traveling with, you know, a family member, a trusted friend, a colleague, you know, have someone who travels with you or at least knows your whereabouts. It's important because, you know what, especially as I said, if you're going to a country where there's unrest, there's always a risk of wrongful detention. So avoid risky territories, all right? Now, my friends, if you ask me, is there an estimate of how many people have been injured in the latest combat operations in the Middle East? I don't have that number. I don't have that number. I don't know. I mean, Military, civilian, I don't have that number. We will find out soon. There's still a lot going on, but I'm guessing that maybe it's in the hundreds. I'm thinking maybe hundreds of people have been injured. I mean, the level of injury can vary. It could be, a minor cut, or it could be a serious injury, a life-threatening injury, life or limb-threatening injury. So, the degree of an injury can vary, but I'm guessing probably hundreds have been injured so far. I don't have an estimate, but right now there's a lot of confusion. It's like when there's a storm in the desert, there's a lot of dust. You cannot see anything, right? There's a storm in the desert. There's so much of dust. There's confusion. There's low visibility. You cannot keep track of your directions, which one's north, which one's south. So that's the situation right now, if I were to describe it. There's so much going on. We have to wait for the dust to settle, okay, for the sand. In the desert, there's like sand everywhere during a sandstorm. So wait for the sand, the dust, and everything to settle. Wait for the confusion to end, and we have to wait to find out the outcome of the military action, the outcome of the combat operation. And the action is ongoing. The action is ongoing. So, as I said during a previous live stream, have faith, be patient, have faith. And I personally, I have complete confidence in President Trump's ability to help achieve peace in the Middle East. By the way, my friends, wow, lots and lots of people are voting. Lots and lots of people are tuning in. Go ahead. Ask me questions if you have questions. Matthew Gonzalez is saying Trump 100%. Go ahead, ask your questions. Let me pause for a second. I'm going to try to look at some questions here if I can. Let me see. Hold on a second. Tangerine is saying T, which means Tosif tells the truth. Thank you, Tangerine. I appreciate your confidence and, your trust and, just your words of appreciation. I'm very grateful for that. Okay. All right. Okay, Vince is writing, Trump is definitely the greatest president ever. Vince, what a great statement that you wrote. What a great statement. You wrote, Trump is definitely the greatest president ever. Now I'm going to ask the rest of you, do you agree with Vince? I think what Vince has said is absolutely true. Now, if you ask me, which people have done, if you ask me, all right, what are your top 3 favorite presidents, okay? Like, from the beginning. I'm going to tell you, and some of you know the answer already. Of course, Donald Trump. Abraham Lincoln, absolutely. And then, this one, this president that I'm going to mention now, a former president, is truly one of my favorites. Truly. I mean, a very, very special and amazing leader. Okay? So, 3 names I'm going to give you. I mentioned Donald Trump. I mentioned Abraham Lincoln. And the third name I'm going to mention, it's not in any particular order. I'm not saying this president is number one, this one is number three. No, I'm just giving you the names. I'm not putting them in any order. A truly great president from American history is, who can guess? Some of you know this. Eisenhower. Eisenhower. One of my absolute favorites. Eisenhower. Okay? Now, some of you may say, okay, why not Reagan? Why didn't you mention Reagan? Okay, why didn't you mention, JFK? All right, JFK was a Democrat, but JFK was, very different Democrat. The Democrats back then, or JFK at least, was not like the far left Democrats we see nowadays. JFK was a different Democrat. So some of you may ask, all right, why not JFK? Why not Reagan? Why not Teddy Roosevelt? Why not, just pick a name? Well, because I'm giving you my 3 favorites. I'm not giving you my top 5 or my top 10. If you give me my top 5, obviously I'm going to add 2 names. But you're asking me my top 3 favorites. I'm going to say Donald Trump, Abraham Lincoln, and Eisenhower. Okay? I have very, very special respect for President Eisenhower. Okay? Truly one of the greatest ever. All right. Who agrees with me? Who agrees with my list? Let me know. Let me know your top 3 favorites. And if it's the same list as mine, let me know that as well. Salerno says absolutely. Okay, I'm seeing someone wrote Kennedy, Eisenhower, and Teddy Roosevelt. All right, I'm seeing. Yeah, just keep sharing your comments. Go ahead, do it. Wow, so many comments. Tangerine is saying same list as yours. Thank you, Tangerine. So Tangerine agrees with the list that I just provided. Bill is saying Eisenhower was definitely one of the best presidents. Bill, it's so great to see you. That's our friend Bill from Las Vegas. Thanks for being here, Bill. Evelyn, are you still listening? Evelyn, I saw Evelyn's name when I started this live stream. Evelyn, are you still here? Let me know. Go ahead, Evelyn, if you're still here. Bill, it's so great to see you. Evelyn is also from, for those who don't know, Evelyn is also our friend from Vegas. All right. Okay, let me continue here. Let me continue here. Remember that the United States of America has very strong allies in the Middle East when you look at the Arab nations. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, these are all allies. And about Qatar, I must point out that it was back in September of 2025 that President Donald J. Trump took action to assure the security of the state of Qatar. If you remember that presidential action If you don't, well, let me share that with you, and maybe you'll remember it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. Okay. There was a presidential action issued by President Trump. And in that action, and you can find the entire document on the White House website, it states, and I quote, "Over the years, the United States and the state of Qatar have been bound together by close cooperation, interests, and the close relationship between our armed forces. The state of Qatar has hosted United States forces, enabled critical security operations, and stood as a steadfast ally in pursuit of peace, stability, and prosperity, both in the Middle East and abroad, including as a mediator that has assisted in the United States' attempts to resolve significant regional and global conflicts. In recognition of this history, and in light of the continuing threats to the state of Qatar posed by foreign aggression, it is the policy of the United States to guarantee the security and territorial integrity of the state of Qatar against external attack." And so, Section 2, it states commitment. It says, "The United States shall regard any armed attack on the territory, sovereignty, or critical infrastructure of the state of Qatar as a threat to the peace and security of the United States." And then the following paragraph, it says, "In the event of such an attack, the United States shall take all lawful and appropriate measures, including diplomatic, economic, and if necessary, military, to defend the interests of the United States and of the state of Qatar and to restore peace and stability." And, the list goes on. I'm not going to read the entire text of the presidential action. You can read it yourself on the website of the White House. It's all there. It's all documented. You can find it. And it goes on. You can read the entire document. So, if Iran attacks Qatar, remember that the United States will use its power to defend Qatar, to defend the territorial integrity of Qatar, to provide help to Qatar, okay? If there's any attack on Qatar, if Iran attacks Qatar, then US will defend Qatar. So Qatar is our friend and will be protected by the United States. And also, in November of 2025, so this presidential action regarding Qatar, this is from September of 2025, but in November of 2025, President Trump solidified economic and defense partnership with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So President Trump, and this is historic. This is historic. Kay Cooper is here. Kay, good to see you. Thanks for being here. This is historic. President Trump designated Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally. A major non-NATO ally. My friends, let me give you the overall picture. President Trump is truly changing the political landscape of the Middle East by forming excellent ties with Arab countries, and also ensuring that the regime in Iran, the authoritarian regime in Iran, is removed so that the people of Iran can truly achieve freedom. So my friends, I want to now draw your attention to a very important blog post that I published. And I'm going to give you the date when it was published. Okay? And what I wrote in that blog post is now, we're now seeing that in reality. Kay Cooper is saying, God bless the Iranian people. Absolutely, Kay. The Iranian people, the innocent civilians, they have suffered so much of suffering. But now, hopefully, they will be free. Hopefully, they will take what belongs to them. They will They will take control of the government and they will run their society properly by establishing democratic institutions. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully that happens. And the Iranian people will be free. Thank you. Thank you, Kay. Thank you for being here. So, I want to point out a very important blog post that I wrote. This was published on December 26th of 2025. So just a little over 2 months ago. Towards the end of 2025, on December 26th, I published a blog post, and it's on my website. You can go check it out, tausifanam.net. And the title of that blog post is, "Here is the role that the United States has to play in international relations." That's what I wrote. I wrote, "Here is the role that the United States has to play in international relations." And you know what? People have different viewpoints. There are some people who would say, "Oh, the US should completely withdraw from the world. Go back to isolationism, be an isolationist, do not engage with the world." That's what a lot of people would say. And I reject that idea. I reject isolationism. I believe that the United States has a big role to play in the world, and that is exactly what I wrote in that blog post, which I published a little over 2 months ago. And now we are seeing that what I had written, we're now seeing that in reality. I advocated for greater involvement in the world. In fact, I wrote that the United States of America has a key role to play on the global stage. Our country must actively stay involved in international affairs and focus on building economic bridges and defense partnerships. We have always known that, but this message needs to be stated again with full clarity. This statement must be emphasized for all to see, hear, and understand. And I wrote, in that blog post, I wrote, "Long-term ties in international relations are developed by extending a helpful hand to a country or population in need, a helpful hand that pulls people out of crisis, a hand of cooperation that alleviates pain, leading to the establishment of a strong bond between nations." And that is what we are seeing right now. The United States of America is extending a helpful hand to the people of Iran, to the general people of Iran who have suffered for so long, for so many years. Now the United States is giving the innocent civilians of Iran an opportunity to reclaim their freedom and to establish a truly democratic society. This is happening now. But I wrote about US involvement, that we need more US involvement. I wrote about this over 2 months ago. While a lot of voices were saying, no, 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 no. The US doesn't need to get involved. The US should retreat. The US should, stay away from being involved globally. The US should only focus on itself and not in international relations. There are voices that still say that. There are voices that still say that. But I see the United States as a force that can promote peace and prosperity around the world. And that is exactly what President Donald Trump is doing. That is exactly what Donald Trump is doing, my friends. I wrote in my blog post that the fight for freedom is ongoing in various parts of the world. There are many areas around the world where people still live in fear. Brutal dictators and ruthless authoritarian regimes still suppress the rights of people. For many human beings, freedom is still just a dream. People yearn for liberty. Many people in various parts of the world still hope for a day when they would be able to would be able to express their thoughts without the fear of persecution. As the most powerful country in the world, we, the United States of America, we have a role to play in international relations. And I wrote that God has given the United States of America the power and influence so we can spread the message of freedom. And I did write that yes, our biggest priority must always be to take care of our own citizens. Our focus must be to ensure economic security for the American people. America's emphasis must be on public safety for all United States citizens. And as we ensure America's steady progress towards greater prosperity, we must also keep an eye on the rest of the world. And I wrote that the United States must provide guidance and support in the establishment of coercion-free societies. The United States must assist those who wish to establish American-style democracy in their countries. That is how we make new friends and we build a stronger global network of trust and cooperation. My friends, then I wrote a paragraph that I already mentioned before, but I'll say it again. I wrote, long-term ties in international relations are developed by extending a helpful hand to a country or population in need, a helpful hand that pulls people out of crisis, a hand of cooperation that alleviates pain, leading to the establishment of a strong bond between nations. And I wrote that the United States has been involved in various global events, from declaring war to distributing humanitarian aid and more. And then I wrote, in retrospect, some of the decisions have been wrong, while other ones have set examples of kindness and benevolence. Some actions have made us look like a savior, while other actions have presented us in a negative light. Of course, as a country, we must learn from past actions, especially when mistakes were made, but in no way can we voluntarily choose to be a reclusive world power. In international relations, a void is filled by the quickest actor. In a world where countries like China, Russia, and India are trying to assert power to attract more partners and spread their influence, the United States of America cannot allow a void to exist for another country to fulfill. And I wrote that our relationships with our global network of allies must be strong, and beyond that, we must look for every opportunity for new partnerships and collaboration. And I wrote, what better way to form new friendships than by spreading the message of freedom to foreign populations that have the desire to establish free societies in their own countries, and therefore, I said, for the reasons above and much more, I support greater US involvement in the world. That's what I wrote. The words come straight from my heart. The words come straight from my heart. I published that on December 26th of 2025, just over 2 months ago. I wrote that advocating for greater US involvement in the world, and what are we witnessing now? We are witnessing greater US involvement in the world. With Donald Trump as president, the United States is providing the people of Iran, the innocent civilians of Iran, an opportunity to truly reclaim their freedom and to establish a democratic society in Iran. My friends, you gotta have patience. Have patience, have faith, have confidence. Things are going to get better. As I said, The path to peace is not easy. There are barriers and obstacles. There can be setbacks. There can be hurdles. But if you are determined, yes, you will achieve peace and prosperity. So right now there's action going on, military action, US combat operations going on. But once things settle down, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Some people are saying, "Oh, regime change." Well, if there's a brutal regime that's oppressing people, don't you want to see regime change? Why do people say, "Oh, regime change, we don't want regime change"? If there's a brutal dictatorship that's causing pain and suffering for the people of their own country, then isn't it a good idea to ensure regime change so that the brutal regime in power is no longer in power? My friends, share with me your thoughts. Share with me your thoughts. I want to see people enjoying freedom. I want to see people breathing freely, following their natural talents, using their skills to pursue opportunities. I want people living free lives, enjoying freedom, using their God-given talents and skills for the betterment of humanity. I want to see joy and happiness and peace and prosperity. The entire world can be a very beautiful place if we can resolve all these conflicts. Share with me your thoughts, my friends. Do you agree with me? I've been talking here for over an hour. Do you agree with my viewpoints? Tell me if you do, tell me if you don't. Share your thoughts with me. Steve is saying 100%. Thank you, Steve. Anyone else? Salerno says yes, 100%. JK is saying agreed. Billy is saying 100%. Anyone else? Kay Cooper is giving me the thumbs up. Thank you, Kay. Kay Cooper from Texas, the great state. By the way, I'm gonna give you my website address so you can go and leave a comment on my website. Leave a comment on my website. Read my writings and leave a comment. I pinned my website address at the top of the chat screen. Okay. If you search my name on Google, you'll find my website information there. So you can either go through Google or you can directly just go to tausifanam.net. Steve says, I like your articles. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the fact that you read my articles. Thank you. Paul is saying 100%. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. JK is saying MAGA. Thank you, JK. Super is saying, thank you, President Trump. All right. Ava is saying, thank you for supporting the Iranian people. Thanks to President Trump for supporting the people of Iran, the innocent people of Iran, the civilians who have suffered for so many years. Now, finally, hopefully, they will achieve freedom and peace. Thank you, Ava. Thanks for being here. Alvin is saying USA, USA, USA. I love it. Thanks, Alvin. All right. Let's see. Any questions? Any more comments from me? So, friends, if you have enjoyed, if you've enjoyed being here, participating in the live chat, if you think that the conversations we have, the discussion, the topics we discuss are helpful, if this channel is helping you be more informed, stay more informed, then you can help this channel grow by subscribing. Okay. Once again, it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, it doesn't cost you any money, not a penny. You just hit the subscribe button, and then you like this video, share this video. So if you've not subscribed yet, I would request that you do that. Okay, that's all I ask for. People often ask me, Tausif, how can we help you? Well, just subscribe. That's it. Help me spread my message. Help me spread my message. Okay, let's see. All right. Yeah, in case you're wondering why I'm silent, I'm just trying to read your comments. All right. Super is saying, amazing President Trump. I agree. Amazing President Trump. We're truly blessed to have such a great president. Jordan is saying Trump forever. Absolutely. The work that President Trump is doing, even after President Trump's, presidential term is over, his work will continue to have impact for years, decades, maybe centuries to come. What a great legacy he's going to have, doing so much of good things for so many people, not just Americans, but people around the world, by stopping those armed conflicts, by stopping the wars, by preventing the onset of wars. President Trump is truly saving lives. I don't know if he's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize or not. I don't think it matters, because In the eyes of the American people and in the eyes of so many people around the world, Donald Trump is truly the peacemaker. Truly the peacemaker. So he doesn't need a formal recognition. He doesn't need Nobel Prize or some trophy, some medal or something. No, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need a certificate. We know from our hearts and minds, we say one thing, that Trump is the peacemaker. So the love and support that Donald Trump is getting from so many people around the world, that's more than any prize or any certificate or any trophy. Tommy Brown is here. Tommy Brown, so good to see you. That's our friend Tommy Brown. Wonderful to see you, Tommy. Salerno is saying hardest working president. Thank you, Salerno. All right. Tommy Brown says freedom. Absolutely, Tommy. Absolutely. It's so good to see Tommy. All right, listen. I see a lot of people are writing comments that that are not meaningful. You know, there are some folks that are just trying to spam the live chat, and so you know, I'm compelled to take an action here. And what I'm gonna do is put this live chat in subscriber only mode. Okay, so anyone who's subscribed or decides to subscribe will be able to write comments. And I do this only to make sure that people are not spamming. You know, ask questions, leave comments, but don't repeat, you know, a spam comment over and over again. You know, it's disruptive. You know, I see a meaningful comment and I'm trying to read it, and somebody's copying and pasting the same comment over and over again. That's just that's not acceptable. Yeah. Yeah, as Steve said, have a discussion, but don't spam. Yeah, I didn't put any timer on yet. I mean, I could put a timer. I could say you have to subscribe and stay subscribed for like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or half hour. I didn't do that. I just put it in simple subscriber only mode. So all that a person has to do in order to comment is to just subscribe. But if I see that this is still not solving the problem of, you know, spam comments, then I'm going to put a timer on it, and I'm going to say, okay, you got to be subscribed for 10 minutes before you can comment. And what that's going to do is those who are here for meaningful conversation, they will subscribe and wait for 10 minutes because, you know, they want to be a part of this community. But the spammers are probably not going to wait for 10 minutes. So they'll just leave, I think. Steve is saying, I've been subbed since day one, brother. Well, thank you, Steve. Thanks for being a subscriber for so long. I truly appreciate that. I appreciate the continued participation here. Okay, so any more questions for me? Otherwise, we're just gonna wrap up here. Any more questions? No? I mean, this is the weekend. I could be back soon to do another live stream. I could be doing another live stream. Who knows? Maybe in a few hours, right? Anyway, my friends, thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate your presence, your participation. Um, let's hope for peace. Let's hope for prosperity. We've got great allies in the Middle East. And hopefully, given President Trump's decision to launch U.S. combat operations, hopefully the people of Iran, after the collapse of the dictator regime in Iran, hopefully the people of Iran will be able to finally have freedom. Okay, let's pray for that. Let's pray for happiness, peace, and prosperity all over the world. Thank you so very much, my friends. It's so great to see you all. Thanks so much, Kay Cooper, Tangerine, Tommy Brown, and others. Selena is here. Selena, thanks for being here. Salerno and Steve, Tommy Brown, I mentioned, others. Thank you so very much. All right. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom loving people all over the world. Thank you so very much. I'm going to see you here again very soon. Thank you.